I think we've done something bad accidentally as a society. We've convinced ourselves that out in our lives, our thoughts, our journals, our moments, our private life, every feeling, everything has to be content. Every book you read, everything you write down, every coffee you drink. Same thing happens with journals. They're not about writing, it's content. Open Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and journals are these impossibly beautiful things. Perfect handwriting, washi tape, 30 different coloured pens, stickers, dried flowers. Every page looks like it belongs in a gallery. And honestly, I can't lie, I love looking at those, I genuinely do. These people are incredibly talented. Some of these journals are works of art. But that's never been what writing stuff, journals, is to me. Mine are unbelievably boring. I use stationery island journals because they're cheap, they're sturdy, they come in different colours, although most of mine are black. And if one gets a bit chewed up in my bag, I don't really care, that's almost part of the charm. My pen of choice, ultra fine Sharpie. That's it. No fountain pen that costs more than my electric bill, no colour coding, no monthly themes, no habits tracking. Just pages that say, today this happened, or a thought in my head. No page that says, write a prompt, today is how I feel. Just me and a pen. Sometimes I see quotes on things and I think, I don't want to lose that, so it goes in. I collect quotes. Sometimes I've watched a film and one line refuses to leave my head. That goes in. Sometimes I'm trying to work something out that came up in therapy. That goes in. Sometimes I'm having one of those days where my brain feels like 50 tabs are open and they're all playing music. That goes in. Sometimes it's literally just buy milk written in the top corner. Because that's how my brain works. They're messy, they're inconsistent, they jump between profound existential questions and wondering whether I've got enough washing powder. And I think journals should reflect that. Psychologists have talked for years about expressive writing. The simple act of going through your brain and getting it out of your head and onto paper can help you process emotions, organize experiences, even reduce mental effects involving the constant carrying of those thoughts around. Some of my journal pages can be a bit dark, others are happy. And by the way, it doesn't mean that writing magically fixes everything. It really doesn't. But there's something interesting that happens when your thoughts stop being trapped in your head. They become objects. You can look at them, question them, disagree with them. Sometimes you read something you wrote 3 weeks ago and think, why on this planet am I worried about this? Other times you realise, no, that feeling was trying to tell me something. Paper has a funny way of slowing the brain down. It forces you to think one sentence at a time, and I think in a world where everything is designed to keep you scrolling faster and quicker, that probably becomes a good thing. One of the reasons I feel so strongly about this is because of my grandmother. She kept journals, not one, definitely not 100s, from about the age 10 until she passed away when I was 26. And honestly, I think it's one of the greatest gifts she's ever left behind. And I will say, not every page is just incredible wisdom. Sometimes she's writing about a recipe she tried. Did she like it? Did she hate it? Sometimes it's about a film that she had seen. Sometimes it's moaning about someone. Sometimes she's excited about a concert. Sometimes she's angry with her sister over something, the fight they had when they were 14. Sometimes it's just ordinary life. But that's exactly why they're special. You don't realise how important ordinary life becomes. History isn't only made up of wars and elections and famous people. It's made up of someone writing. Bought a pair of new shoes today, or I had an argument with my sister, or I read a lovely book. The roses finally bloomed. This curry I tried to make tasted terrible. That's life. That's a person. It's the kind of stuff that nobody remembers unless you write it down. I think we've become obsessed with documenting experiences for everyone else. Photos, videos, stories, posts, everything is outward facing. A journal is one of the few places that's entirely inward facing. You're not performing, you're not trying to be funny, you're not trying to be liked, you're not trying to build an audience, it's just you, in whatever state you happen to be in, good or bad. And I think there's something incredibly healthy about having places where you don't perform. One place where you can be completely unreasonable, you can be the asshole. One place where you can be angry, confused, hopeful, childish, completely wrong, and nobody ever has to see it. I think we've become scared of crossing things out, scared of making mistakes, scared that every page has to be beautiful, but life isn't always beautiful, is it? Our faults certainly aren't. Sometimes my journal has words scribbled over because halfway through writing I realise, no, that's not actually what I meant, I crossed it out. Write something else. Sometimes the handwriting changes because I'm tired. Sometimes because I'm excited, and sometimes because I'm annoyed, and sometimes because I'm balancing the notebook on my knee in a car park before work. And years later, I can actually remember how I felt because the page reflects that moment. It's not neat, it's not pretty, it's just honest. One of my oldest friends, BritChick22 on TikTok, we've known each other for a very long time in person, makes these absolutely gorgeous journals. Honestly, they're amazing, real works of art. And we talked recently about writing things down and preserving thoughts, be it visually or not visually. The interesting thing is, despite our journals looking completely different, we're doing exactly the same thing. She's expressing herself, I'm expressing myself. One looks beautiful, and one looks like it's survived a small natural disaster. Both are completely valid, because that's the point. A journal doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Sometimes a journal can be a complete visual thing, a scrapbook. Sometimes it can be a beautiful leather-bound tome. Maybe yours has stickers, maybe it has some pressed flowers, maybe it's colour-coded, maybe you write entirely in pencil, maybe it's full of coffee stains, maybe every other page is crossed out, maybe half the notebook is shopping lists. Fantastic, that's your life, that's your brain, that's your world. And honestly, I think there'll come a day where somebody opens your old notebooks, maybe your children, maybe your grandchildren, maybe a niece, a nephew, maybe a friend clearing out your house decades from now, and they discover a version of you that never existed online. Not the photographs, not the carefully chosen captions, not the version of yourself you edited before posting. Just you, thinking, wondering, working things out, laughing at yourself, getting things wrong, changing your mind. And I think that's worth preserving. So if you've ever thought about keeping a journal, but convinced yourself your handwriting isn't good enough, or you don't have the right notebook, or the right pens, or the enough artsy ability, forget that. It's nonsense. Buy the cheapest notebook you can find. Use whatever pen you like. Write one sentence. Write 10 pages. Write a quote. Write about a terrible day. Write about the best coffee you've had this week. Write that you need milk. It genuinely doesn't matter, because in 20 years' time, you won't care whether the pages were aesthetic. You care that it existed. You have a little snapshot of who you were on an ordinary Tuesday, and sometimes those ordinary Tuesdays end up meaning far more than you will ever imagine. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hype this video up if you want to. And if you want to go deeper, get early access, and we have a podcast, by the way, you can check out channel memberships, Patreon, and Substack. I'm Darth James, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.